Welcome to Inside Design with Kandrac and Kole, hosted by two nationally published Atlanta interior designers, Joann Kandrac and Kole. These energetic women are also world travelers, charity givers, and bloggers with a wealth of information to share and stories to tell about the interior design world. Okay, now just a warning, this is going to be fun and not too serious. After all, they still do have an interior design business running at full speed.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Kandrac and Kole Inside Design, episode 13. We're talking today about a lot of different topics, design related, and taking questions from our listeners.
So in our last podcast, or two ago, I can't remember, and then we put it all out on social media, we asked people to go to our website, kandrac-kole.com, click on podcast, and refer to the green microphone on the right-hand side of the screen that says talk to us. And so a lot of people did. And then we got a few emails. So we're going to go through them today and see what people are really wanting to know from us. All right, so our first gal is Christine.
Hi, Joann and Kelly. This is Christine from Marietta. I love your work and I love your show. I wanted to ask a question about pairing different elements within the same room. Do you have any tips on how best to mix design elements that normally would not be paired together? For example, antiques with modern pieces? Thanks very much.
Great question. We talked
question.
a little bit about this on one of the other shows about mixing antiques in. And I think you can definitely do this. I think it makes a room much more interesting. For example, I love abstract art, maybe above an antique piece.
I love that.
But some of the rules are, once again, which we always talk about is scale. Not having a big chunky wing chair and then a baby little antique table next to it.
Right.
Making sure the sizes are done right.
Yeah. And I think also it depends on the quality of things. Mm-hmm. You know, for example, if you have a piece that, let's just say, I'm not going to call out any references, but it's just not attractive in any way, and you're trying to mix it with something, it might not work so well. But like, for example, we were at a client's house yesterday, and I said to her, your house feels very traveled. It feels very organic. Do you guys travel a lot? And she was like, oh yeah, we've been everywhere. We've been to, they had an adopted daughter from India, and we've been, they'd really been all over the world. And I could tell from their house and the way she was mixing things, it really looked good. So
you don't want to walk into a room and look like it was all store-bought. So any of those old pieces, even if it's an old chair, if it might not work in the family room, put it in the foyer. I mean, the old chairs look great in foyers or just in a little bathroom and put some books on it. There's definitely ways to mix it, but like Kelly said, quality is really, really important.
Yeah, I think if you're trying to mix junk, you're not going to get the look we're kind of referring to.
Yeah.
All right, but that was really good because I think people are, like in our clientele, we have a lot of clients where the parents are passing away. Mm-hmm. And so we've got these clients that are in their 50s and they're trying to incorporate some special pieces, and it's kind of challenging. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah. Okay, let's go on to the second one.
Who's that? Michelle.
Yes.
Hi, Joann and Kelly. It's Michelle. I have a quick question regarding your partnership. Since you are a team, how do you all divvy up your time and your responsibilities when it comes to office work as well as projects?
Wow, we get asked this a lot. Well, first of all, I do 95% of the work, and Kelly does about 5%.
You are so full of it.
So that's basically
I'm going to smack you right now.
It totally doesn't work that way. We are really 50-50. People ask us all the time, how do you guys get this to work so well? How do you, like Michelle's asking, how do you divvy up the work?
Well, I would say, okay, we're going to do a whole show on business partnerships, but just to kind of answer this question for Michelle, we always go to the consultation together so that we both have a relationship with the client. Just in case, Joann goes gallivanting off in Italy again, I can, I'm in the know with her clients. It used to be that we worked on all projects together, but now we're too busy to do that. So one of us takes the lead, and sometimes Joann won't even touch a job I'm working on unless I need her to figure out something for me.
We work independently kind of in the beginning, and then we'll reach to each other to say, God, I can't figure this out. Will you help me?
Or look this over, make sure I didn't screw anything up, or do you like the vibe?
This over. And then when it comes time to placing all the orders, the girls in our office do that. So as far as divvying up the work, it just depends on the load, and maybe where one of us might have the inkling, I don't know.
Yeah.
We jive with that client maybe a little bit more.
And then you kind of take
or
that one
if
over.
it's a lot of window treatment related, that's Kelly's.
Wallpaper is Joann.
Wallpaper's mine.
I'm window treatments. And then also we kind of split it up. Like Joann does we have a bookkeeper and we have a CPA, but Joann does all the initial kind of communication with the bookkeeper, and she keeps all of our books, straight up. Whereas I do the payroll every week and all the 401k stuff, or not 401k, simple IRA we have, and all our what's been bugging us lately, workman's comp.
Yeah.
Oh, and I do a lot of the computer stuff because my husband is our tech butler, and he is the go-to for us.
I think the bottom line, without explaining anything else, is you both have to have the same work ethic. Mm-hmm. You both have to have utmost respect for each other.
Totally.
And I think we have that. I think we both have a really, really good balance in our lives. Our lives are similar. We both have 2 daughters who are out of the house. We have husbands that are very much the same. We have the same.
I have a crazy puppy. You don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we kind of have the same ideas. We've decided that we want balance in our lives. We're not killing ourselves. And we rarely ever have issues. And if something's not going right, we don't hold it in. We just we talk about it. So,
but there's plenty of times when, say Joann's working on a project and she's like, "I'm done. My brain is fried. I can't. Can you finish this for me?" So we really kind of go back and forth, but it's really it's an even flow. It's nothing really conscientious.
It just seems to work out that way. But we'll do a whole show on that because we love to talk about that, and a lot of people want to know. We'll get into a little bit more of the details of that.
Okie dokie. Okay. So next up, we have Sarah Beth, who called in.
Hi, I live in Dahlonega, and my husband and I are about to close on our second home here on Monday, and we are actively searching for the right piece of furniture to go in our living room. The thing is that all of the sofas that we are finding it's basically either functionality or looks. How on earth can we combine both so we can both get something comfortable, but also I'm not embarrassed about when people come into our new home? Any thoughts?
Oh, Sarah Beth, we have some thoughts on this. Sofas might be one of your bigger investment pieces, for sure.
She might not be willing to spend. She might not be spending enough.
You can totally have functionality and good looks.
Absolutely.
There's a whole, once again, here we are back in the classroom. 8-way hand tied. I'm not sure if you know what that means, but it is the way that sofa is constructed. You can go online and look it up, and it just explains how. Usually, if you purchase a 8-way hand tied sofa, it's something that you could probably have forever and have it reupholstered. A lot of times, people will say, "Is it worth keeping this?" Well, if it's 8-way hand tied and it's good quality, yes, you can. Mm-hmm. So. Being comfortable, that's kind of a personal thing too. Do you like to sit deep? Do you like to firm? Do you want something, so that is something that another thing a designer can do for you, because we can go to our manufacturers and customize anything. So
we're always very aware of the size of your body. So, for example, I like a deep sofa because I'm short and my feet never touch the ground when I'm in a piece of furniture. So I always curl my legs up underneath me. Whereas my mom, who had a hip replacement, she likes to sit straight up and get in and out easier. So she likes a more shallow sofa. So kind of knowing how you are helps. Some people don't like a real mushy back.
Because they can't get out of it.
They can't get out of it. Or if you're super fanatical about your house and that down mushiness will kind of bother you because it has to be kind of fluffed. Yeah. Don't do it.
And then another thing that we've been doing a lot of is using a bench seat, like one long cushion where you're sitting instead of like the 3. I mean, usually someone will end up sitting in the crack, or you can't really. So having that, it looks much cleaner, and it really is really kind of different. So I would
it's
look
better
at
for a
that.
nap, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Well, and people don't want to sit on the crack, and 3 people will never sit on a sofa together unless it's like 2 parents and a kid. They just won't.
Yeah.
So minimum, you can get 2 seats. You can get 2 backs, which is one of my favorites. You can do all kind of configurations, but again, it depends on where you're shopping.
Yeah.
If you're going to a low-end retailer, you're probably not going to find these options that we're talking about. So, spend the money on a good sofa. You can go save somewhere else, but I would always say spend the money on the sofa.
Yep. Good question.
Yep. Okay. Ooh, Erin from Michigan. That's cool.
Hi ladies, I'm currently looking to change my cabinet hardware and was wondering what your thoughts are on mixing metals, like doing nickel hardware with brass pendants, let's say. Thanks for the advice.
I'm so excited that someone is thinking about brass because people are so traumatized by the polished brass from the 80s, and it's really being
It's gone.
mixed.
Don't worry about
really
it.
being mixed in. We have a client right now who said that she just didn't think she would ever do brass, and we picked a beautiful tile.
The granite for the countertops.
Yes, the granite
it was
for the
Taj
countertops,
Mahal.
and it was so beautiful, and it really needed that burnished brass. And so she's like, I'm not really sure. And then we're like, okay, well, here's the other option. She's like, no, I'm going to trust you. We're like, thank you. Brass is not the old brass, and you can totally mix it.
And you can mix all kinds of metals. We did the show about when we were at K-Biz, the kitchen and bath show in Orlando, and we were talking about all the different finishes that the manufacturers are coming out with that is so fantastic. That's not rubbed oiled bronze and not chrome. There were some that were, of course, the antiqued hand brush brass that we're talking about right now. That's kind of a burnished brass. But there were also matte black. There was stainless steel
matte black and
with
brass
some black in it.
is so great. Mixing it up. You don't want
Just go
everything
for
to
it.
look so perfect. Not everything needs to really match perfectly.
Exactly.
So go for it, Erin.
For the example is we were working with this client right now on a new build, and they had selected their plumbing fixtures before we came into the game. And I think she chose polished nickel.
No, she did some satin nickel.
Oh, satin nickel.
She didn't go the
Okay, all right.
polished.
Well, that's good. So we were at the granite marble yard with them, and we picked all the stone for all their countertops. And in the master bath, we turned up this, we'd never used it before. It's called Taj Mahal. It's a granite. We ended up honing it, but it's like creamy, and it has these beautiful natural waves of kind of almost copper in it. It was kind of a brown. It may have even had some, I don't know. I'd never used it before, but it definitely just didn't scream for silver. So we were just thinking in that bathroom we should really mix it up. So the tile had a lot of kind of brownies in it, and so it's going to work.
This usually happens sometimes when people are afraid and they say, okay, I'm going to trust you. What I know it's going to happen. I know it's going to get installed, and she's going to be like, oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad I listened to you. So,
And we're going to say, thank you for trusting us. That's why it looks so good.
yeah. Okay. Oh, a wallpaper question.
Okay, this is good. Bruce.
Hi, my name is Bruce. I'm from Wilmington, Delaware, and I have a question about wallpaper. Is it in? Is it out? And why does my wife keep wanting me to put it on the ceiling?
Bruce, are you a stand-up comic or something? That's hilarious.
Oh, my God.
Okay. Is it in? Absolutely in.
We're screaming in.
Definitely
Yes.
not out. Definitely not. And your wife has got to be pretty hip because she must be looking at some of our work, because we love to put wallpaper on the ceiling. We love to put it behind bookcases. We love to put it in laundry rooms and little bathrooms. So make your wife happy, Bruce.
Yeah, put it on the
it on
ceiling,
the
honey.
ceiling.
The ceiling is the fifth wall. You've probably heard this. Do not ignore the ceiling. The ceiling can be so dramatic, and we've done it on the ceiling at a lot of, you'll see it on our website, on a lot of dining room ceilings, actually. And what's nice about it is, it's breaks down your quantity. So if you want to do a really nice wallpaper, you're cutting down your costs a little bit by only doing the fifth wall and not all walls. Number one. Number two, if you're doing a really cool light fixture, then your drama is all over the place. I mean, it's just, if people are looking up, then they're seeing the whole space. And that's a really dramatic effect.
How many people's homes do you walk into and see wallpaper on the ceilings? Not many, because they're afraid.
Yeah.
But
overall, wallpaper is in, Bruce. Yeah. It's in. We use it all the time.
Yep.
So
there you go.
Your wife is on the right track.
Okay, so we had an email from Bonnie from Virginia, and she says this: "Hi, talented ladies. I love everything you two do and so excited about your podcast. Sorry this isn't an email form, but I have bronchitis with laryngitis, so I have no voice, and I really would love your opinion. My home was built in the 80s. I have beautiful triple crown molding in all my rooms on the first floor. My dilemma is in my kitchen. I want to paint my trim white and molding white. However, my cabinets will not be painted, and the molding goes all around the top of the cabinets. Do I paint the molding white or stop at the cabinets and leave the molding stained? Help. Thank you." I have this exact...
That is a great question, and people ask it all the time, and it's so legit.
I have this exactly in my kitchen.
Okay.
I did not take it all the way around. I kept the molding stained. Otherwise, it looks like you have a big stripe going around. Mm-hmm. So leave the stained. If your cabinets go to the ceiling and they're stained and they have the crown around them, leave that.
So then it looks like one unit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you don't have the racetrack, as I call it, going around the room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's tricky.
That's really tricky. While we're on the subject, our friend Paula from Guatemala that we work with, she sent me a Facebook message, and she said, "Please ask this question on the show." And her question was, "Can I paint the walls, the trim, and the ceiling all the same color, or do I need to break it all up?" And there's no real right answer to that question.
We've done it both ways.
We have. And I think I see it more when all three wall, trim, ceiling are all painted the same color. I feel like I see that more on high-end design, where it's lacquered or they're playing with finishes. It's very dramatic. It's generally in a bold color.
Although if you want to, this is how I would do the finishes. I would do the walls in a satin or eggshell. Mm-hmm. I would do the trim in a semi-gloss or high gloss, and the ceiling flat.
Even if you're doing all the same color?
Even if you're doing all the same color, because it will look a little bit different based on, what it's on.
Now, if the crown molding is substantial, super interesting, and a design element in and of itself, then I do like it to be a separate color myself. Mm-hmm. I think we're doing a lot more trim and ceilings the same color. If the trim is just kind of like your average nice trim,
but if it's
if it's
really
dramatic,
good architectural detail, you want to really let it stand out.
Yeah, so it's tricky, but I think it really looks good. And there's no rules there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, well, those are really, really good questions. Yeah. I liked it. All right, so I was in charge of the quote today. And my first quote, Joann didn't approve of. So I'm going to read you both because I think they're both hilarious. One is hilarious.
I'm afraid to admit it. I didn't really get it. Kelly had to explain it to me. So I'm a loser.
So my morning in bed and evening in bed is like my Instagram time. So I'm in bed last night. My husband's out of town, and our friend Holly Phillips, who's an incredible designer, fashionista, blogger of the English Room, she puts on her Instagram. Ready? See if you get this. Every time you get dressed, remember, if you die, that's your ghost outfit forever. I was laying in bed laughing by myself.
When I think of a ghost, I think of a ghost wearing a white cape. I don't think of an outfit.
It's what you're wearing today. Your outfit today has to be fantastic.
I'm not going to come back wearing this outfit. I'm
yes,
going to be in white.
You're going to be a ghost on the day you die.
I'm going to be ethereal and white and flowy. I'm not going to have this dress on with these shoes.
She thinks she's going to be an angel. Oh, God. Okay, so let me get serious here. Here's a more inspirational one, but I hope you got a good laugh at that because I was just like a loser in bed alone laughing out loud. Okay, so here's another one. Destroy the idea that you have to be constantly working or grinding in order to be successful. Embrace the concept that rest, recovery, and reflection are essential parts of the progress towards a successful and ultimately happy life. And that is from the Minds Journal.
Very it's good, so true. Right? We all need to be told to rest and relax a little bit.
Well, it's like you were just saying, we're not going to completely kill ourselves. not going to do that. I crashed and burned in my corporate life, and I'm not doing that in this life with you. So
it's all about the balance too.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
So that's my mature inspirational quote for today. But I really like the ghost one. So
okay,
make
you
sure
know what's going to happen is
watching what you wear today.
You're going to be in your bed. I'm going to have gone to the other side, and I'm going to come into your room, and I'm going to be wearing one heck of an outfit.
You're retarded. Okay, so next week when we all get back together, we are leaving tomorrow for High Point Furniture Market. So we will be there for 5 days, 20,000 steps a day, being inspired, seeing all of our manufacturers and our vendors, and it's super excited.
Disney World for designers.
It is.
It's a lot of work, but it's so fun, and we can't wait to tell you some of the
We
stuff
took a year off because
we
were burnt, and we'd been going for years and years and years and years. And I'm so glad we did because I'm totally psyched.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Our industry is really cranking it out. There's a lot.
I'm totally re-energized to go back.
Yeah,
so next week
we are going to talk about what it takes to run an interiors design business. There is a lot to it that I don't think people really know.
We are not just shopping with everybody else's money. La 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 la.
We're going to just tell you a little bit how we run our office and what we've learned over the past 13 years and what it takes to run this kind of a business.
Which I think it will be applicable to a lot of small businesses, period.
Yes.
Kind of how our operations
and how things have evolved. So we're excited for that one.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, everyone, for your questions. Those were awesome.
That was fun. So we're hitting the road, and we'll see you next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Join Joann and Kelly weekly for a lively conversation about trends, travels to industry events, current design projects, the good, the bad, and the ugly, do's and don'ts, product recommendations, and more. Be sure to follow the fun on Facebook. They're on Instagram at Kandrac Kole, and of course, you've got to visit them online at kandrac-kole.com for more information.